We're going to give it just a moment to be sure that people have had time to actually join in before I, ramble on too long and we get started listening to the music. But yeah, I think maybe until that, why don't you just tell me how's your spring been? How have you
Um,
enjoyed spring so far?
it's been good. It's
Yeah,
been very hot.
yeah,
It's
mercy.
yeah, I'm like, my goodness. But I've been enjoying myself. I just picked up a new job, so that's always fun. But
A new what?
I picked up a new job, a job.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's always fun times. But in general, it's been really nice. How was you and your family, by the way?
Oh man, great. Every single day is a brand new, insane joy and challenge with a toddler in the house, which is, I'm sure everybody who's ever had a toddler has felt the same ways, but it feels realer whenever you're in it. So
You need to get her on some commercials or something. She is the cutest thing.
I appreciate that. I'll let her choose to be famous when she gets old enough to make that choice.
There, okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't see anybody in the chat just yet, and I don't know how to tell if people are in the stream. But um, I'd love to start off just by saying thanks for joining me. I really appreciate your presence around IMF, but also just as part of the artistic community that I have discovered as a good place to be on the internet. Your music and just your personality and your spirit about creating things and sharing and collaborating has been really refreshing, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm excited to share what I think is your first EP, your first full length thing, right?
Yep, my first one of that. And first and foremost, shout out to the IMF community. You guys are
Yeah,
so wonderfully supportive and talented and just fantastic. So I'm just so appreciative that for all the amazing endless support that I've been getting, especially from IMF. But yeah, it's my first project, Chapter One. I felt like it was a befitting name for
yeah, yeah,
work for something like this, and I was very terrified about the idea of dropping it, but it seems
yeah.
like it's getting a cool reception. So I'm like, woohoo!
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I was noticing, and I'm always trying to find witty ways, or I should say, contemporary ways to shout out things about this show. I'm always trying to find like a funny way to say, "Hey, guess what? I make a podcast, and you should listen to it." And yesterday, I was trying to upload a screenshot of your music video, just to say, "I'm talking to Osay. You guys should come listen." And the joke I came up with was something like, "Nothing has ever been more worthy of hype than 1,000 plays in 2 weeks on that music video." I noticed. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's amazing.
Man, oh, amazing. And even just the engagement and support. I turned that one down now just because I wanted to promote the clean version of it. But I was
Yeah,
not expecting the love and support that I got from it. Even the first day, the amount of people that were just, oh my gosh, this is great. The
yeah,
quality.
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I'm hoping also we're going to listen through the EP in its entirety, but whenever we get to off brand, I'd like to stream the video. Do you think that's an okay idea? Yeah,
Perfect. Absolutely.
awesome,
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, yeah, yeah. We'll talk more about making each track and more about just your time, creating it, promoting it, writing it, dreaming it up. I feel like that's as important as the time at the microphone is the time you spent dreaming about it. So we'll talk about more of that, but let's listen to the first track. Do you want to tell me a little bit about it before we jump into it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the first track on the project is Rogue, and a lot of things kind of inspired that song, that idea. I had just left a label situation, and I
Mm,
kind of wanted to write not necessarily about it, but this idea of Osei branching off, Osei doing her own thing, not really confined to the ideas of what other people think Osei is, but
mm,
here's
hmm.
Rogue doing her, and just
Yeah.
and it's just kind of to go to this idea that you can be your own person. You shouldn't be afraid of that. You shouldn't be afraid of
Mm,
going
mm.
broke, afraid of being you, and believing and standing up for the things that you feel. It sounds a lot deeper than it should be,
Yeah.
but just
No,
stand,
no, I
go rogue and
yeah.
be someone
Yeah,
else.
yeah. I understand that completely. I feel like in every I was just listening to a podcast recently and he pointed out that in every heroic story, the hero has to leave what's comfortable.
Yeah,
At
oh,
some point the hero has to go rogue. You know what I mean? And I love that. Like it's it's not a rejection. It's not a failure to embrace some existing system, but you're trying to find your own place in it. And I feel like there's always a leaving included in that. So yeah, man, I love it. Let's listen to it.
All right. I listen to it on my headphones.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, um, hold on a moment here.
Oh yeah, no worries.
For some reason, it's not playing.
Oh no. No, you're fine.
Oh, because it's playing upstairs in my
Oh,
daughter's room. Let me switch it. Oh no. Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna start it over.
all right. All right. We back. Oh no, tell me what's going on. I think she's going rogue. Controller, just thought you should know. Think about it, don't talk about it. Think about it, cause what I say goes. Think about it, don't worry about it. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I need all my space and time. Never really worry cause I do what I wanna. Marching to the beat of my own drum. If you like it, I'm excited. If you're not worried about it, get behind me. I've designed it to be on my own, so I don't really care if you're not on. Oh no, tell me what's going on. I think she's going rogue. Controller, just thought you should know. Think about it, don't talk about it. Think about it, cause what I say goes. Think about it, don't worry about it. Oh no, yeah, yeah. Figgity facts, all of your bosses, and I heard everything you say, and you do what these people ask. I don't like how you behave, you know that you be a slave to everybody. Don't come to my party, please don't come to my party. Doing that thing everybody's bound to do. Better do you, better do you. Won't you go roll, go roll, go roll, go roll. I need you to turn it on, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. Oh no, tell me what's going on. I think she's going rogue. Controller, just thought you should know. Think about it, don't talk about it. Think about it, cause what I say goes. Think about it, don't worry about it. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh no, tell me what's going on. I think she's going rogue. Controller, just thought you should know. Oh no. All right.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. I
You all missed
love
out on
how.
the YouTube as the song was going on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny too. Like I never know the appropriate amount of get down to bring into this personal space of the camera while the song is streaming on the stream. I usually just I usually just tap my feet. I don't want to go too wild. Um, but no, I was gonna bring up, like, in your tracks, how diverse each section is, but they're always connected by like a really good hook. Do you do you find that comes like really natural to you to just have like a bunch of flows and a bunch of verses?
I wish. And
Yeah.
that's a really good question because that's my goal. Like, as much as I love the lyrical, spiritual, miracle aspect of things, I always want to catch people with something that makes them like, oh,
Mm.
that was catchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up listening to like Missy Elliott, and Eminem, and Kanye, people who could make even the most serious of subjects catchy and
Mm.
interesting. And I constantly want to find that element in when I'm creating. So that's
Mm.
really,
Mhm.
really important to me, and it is difficult. Like, I think I talked to you about it the first time we talked, and I was
Mhm.
like, it always like beating my head and trying to come up with the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
thing. So I appreciate you denoting that because that's always something I'm looking for when I'm trying to create.
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm listening to music, like if the second verse is not the exact same as the first, just with different words. That is something that really increases my interest as opposed to diminishes it. Let's get to the end, I guess. And I just love that use of cadence. It's a cadence in its own way is very melodic, and the cadence itself can become the catchy thing that you end up, even if you don't know the words, mimicking in your. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I love it. But yeah, no. So going rogue. Have you found that in your season of going rogue, have you had like a creative explosion from that freedom, or how's that been?
Man, I wish I could say that. If anything, it's been even more difficult. When you have people around,
Mm-hmm.
even though you may feel stifled from time to time, you know that you're not doing it alone, which is something I always appreciated with the people that I was working with at the time. But
Yeah,
now it's like everything falls on your shoulders. If it's the video, it's the ideas for the songs, the concepts. Even though there
yeah.
was more freedom to do what I wanted to do without this fear of like, oh, what are they going to think? It was still
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of the thing with going rogue is that there's this idea of proving people wrong or right based off of, they always say like, oh, you won't do as well without us. Or not that they said that, but it's just kind of
Yeah,
this was
yeah,
okay, good luck going rogue. So a
yeah.
big part of yourself is constantly just trying to prove that, I did do the right thing by going my own way and doing it my own way. So, you're
Mm-hmm.
a big critic, you're constantly trying to just do things better and bigger. And with that comes a lot of stress and there are elements where I can be more creative, but it has been more stressful than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah. For sure,
So,
for sure. I can
but
imagine so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I do appreciate having that autonomy to be me,
Hmm.
but it's
Yeah.
hard. But yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
yeah. I find like the more disconnected I feel from that like structure and rule system, the more I end up creating tiny versions of it with other people. Do you have like a closer group that you do rely on for feedback? I mean, obviously we're both part of like the IMF thing, like that's a feedback, but I mean like even smaller than that, even more personal.
Ooh, good question. There's a couple people I do kind of, okay, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about that idea that I trust with like every ounce of my soul? And that's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
your, opinion on it. But at the end of the day, I know that you gotta go with your gut at the end of the day too. Because I've had situations where I'll send something to like one of my favorite people is my sister, and she's someone I go to for
Mm.
advice, someone I go to when I'm not sure about certain songs. And she's had songs where she's like, absolutely not.
Yeah. And that's
But
how
I'll
that's how you know they're being honest when they have a no. The yes means more. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely 110% because
yeah.
and especially it's funny too, like the dynamic between my sister and I. You think it's your sister, so she gonna ride for you no matter what it's good or bad. She go, yeah, I love it. No,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
if she doesn't like it, she will let you know. And I know
that's
there have been
good.
times
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, I don't like it, but I love it. So it's like I gotta go with what feels right to me
yeah,
ultimately at the end of the day, even when I am consulting with other people.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna certainly talk more about that. I really enjoy talking about this with you, and I feel like I'll get in a loop of questions unless we move on to the next track, which you have mentioned. Part of kind of going out on your own meant you had to come up with all the ideas and do the videos on your own and everything. So we're gonna listen. We're gonna watch the video for Off Brand next. Will you tell me some about making that?
Yeah, no, off brand. I had this idea. I knew with off brand, I knew I wanted it to be the first single because I wanted to showcase elements and aspects of myself. Off brand is the exaggerated version of me. There are elements of me that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
true. You want to be the off-brand version of Aaliyah. I love her, but again, it's again Osay tuned up 1,000. So I wanted to showcase me in my most natural element, and the song that kind of represented me best was off-brand. So
Yeah,
being
yeah.
colors and the funny stuff that is
Hmm.
who I am by nature, and
Hmm.
I'm sure you can kind of tell that through this interview. So that's kind of what made that music video kind of happen the way that it did.
Nice,
Big
nice.
yeah, the director, Patrick, he really kind of helped shape it, and so he made it 10 times better than I could have imagined. So I got to give
Yeah.
him some of that.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Well, let's take in I mean, yeah, shout out to that guy, but shout out to you too. It's a collaborative effort. So let's enjoy the work that's been shared. Uh,
Awesome.
Uh-huh. Why are you looking at me? Don't look at me. Hey, I need more bread, no lettuce. Pockets fat like precious. Don't sub, no Reddit. Def Jam Vendetta. I am Vegeta. Goofy eyed Bonita. Off brand version of Leon left out. When you take pics, better get my best side. I devil with it. You couldn't get this at Best Buy. Let's spread the west side. Just getting the bird. Kept up with these clowns, cause kids, they never learn. Well, hot damn vermin. Ooh, I was super certain. I drive you off the edge, and yeah, baby, I'm swerving. Rap no turban. I feel secure. Won't you crack a window? It's getting hot in her. I know, I've been too clean. I know, you gon' want me. I know, I've been afraid. I've been a free agent, can't get me. I know, you don't believe. I know, you gon' envy. I know, keep it low key. Stunning on the low ever since I was 14. I'm a sophisticated hoe, you can't just with me. See, I don't give it up to men that are ugly. Cause Nikki got it feeling like she Chun-Li. Or a meaner version of somebody else. So homie, what is it gon' be? When you want me at 3:15. Leave me lonely, like don't call me. Baby, not now, I'm working on trap beats. Vastly different than all these issues. If your girl's a bum, then that's terrific. She can dive in oceans, maybe Pacific or Atlantic, just to get specific. I can't stand your gimmicks, these they mimic. Couldn't get the lamb, so I got the Civic. I don't consider I am the winner. Why have dessert when you can have dinner? I know, I've been too clean. I know, you gon' want me. I know, I've been afraid. I've been a free agent, can't get me. I know, you don't believe. I know, you gon' envy. I know, keep it low key. Stunning on the low ever since I was 14.
Fantastic, yeah. The first and strangest question I'd like to immediately ask about that video. You've got the line about ugly dudes, basically. And in the video, you have somebody playing an ugly dude. Who is that? Who agreed to be your ugly dude?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I knew when I was doing the video, I knew I had to get that part of
Yeah,
the video.
yeah.
Big shout out to man,
when you take pics, baby, my best side. I devil with it. You couldn't get this at Best Buy.
Best
Nigga with the west side, just getting the bird.
And he's not an ugly guy, obviously. And funny, he has a wig on too, but it wouldn't stay on when he, so the wig is on the bed, so
Yeah.
I feel so tired.
but he
He
was
was crack a window,
fantastic.
it's getting hot in
He's
her.
gonna take that
I know,
That is cool.
Yeah. I like
I
it.
know,
I like
you
it.
gon' want
And
me.
everything about
I know, I've been afraid. I've been a free
the
agent.
visuals never get boring, but they also never get
I know,
overstimulated.
you don't believe.
There's never a point
I
when I
know,
can't hear
you
the
gon'
song because
envy. I know, keep it
How-
low key.
tell me about,
Stunning on
like,
the
how-
low since I was 14.
maybe
I'm a
just like
sophisticated hoe, you can't
track
just
is
fuck
playing
with
it,
me.
yeah. Oh, geez.
See, I don't give it up to men that are ugly.
Oh,
Cause
my
Nikki
bad,
got a
everybody.
bitch.
No.
Thanks for that. Papa Janinski.
Thank you,
Uh,
Papa.
yeah.
Love you.
I feel like I was just talking about something being overstimulating while a song and I were just going nuts at the same time. Sorry about that, everybody. YouTube, it has a mind of its own. But I want to know, like, how long did the video take to come together?
There. Ooh, man, that's a story within itself.
Yeah.
Originally, the video was going to be something else because I was still working with my old team to do it. And it overstimulated the initial ideas. Oh, yeah, you guys would have had a lot. So when I worked with the other guy, Patrick, and kind of sharing my ideas, I reached out to him maybe a week or two before we actually did the video, but I had had the ideas for it for a little minute. I knew that I wanted some of the lyrics to match what was in the song. I knew
Mhm.
that I wanted it to be funny and, I wanted to kind of showcase elements of my personality within the song. So I'll say in total, well, again, this was something I wanted to do for a minute. I've had ideas for it, even like the I don't give it up to men that are ugly. I knew as soon as I wrote the song, oh, that has to be in the video in
Yeah,
some way.
yeah.
But I guess to get it all out, it was probably maybe a couple of weeks until we actually got everything kind of together.
Wow, yeah. Was it fun? Was it
Yeah,
agonizing? How was it?
The process of the idea of shooting a video, that was agonizing. But when the day came, it was probably the most fun that I'd had in
Yeah.
such a long time, and I thought it was going to be really nerve wracking. I thought, people are going to watch me. I don't know how I'm going to, but it was so much fun as soon as the camera went on. I think sometimes when it's like you wanted to do something for so long, when it's that time to kind of
Yeah.
commit, it just happens. And it went flawlessly, which I was so, so thankful for.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel similar in that when I have an excuse or when I have permission to stop being timid, when now I'm my character, now I'm Osay. I'm not the name my parents gave me. I get to be Osay the whole time the camera's on. Like I feel like there's something so empowering about that. You get to participate in your art in like a very visceral way.
Well, I love the way participate in your art. It's not
Yeah,
just about the song itself, but the character. People
yeah,
associate
yeah.
idea or a certain type of human being. So yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what it felt like. It was like, okay,
Mhm.
lights on, go, and
Yeah.
came out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for that. Just kind of some of the background, and I feel like one important thing to talk about whenever you make something of good, high quality is like the work that went into it. In a few weeks, some people might get frustrated if they can't capture a video like that in a day, and it's like, well, that's just not going to happen.
Just to roll with the punches. That's something that I've
Mhm.
seen happen, having to happen is just, things happen and you just gotta go with the flow,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well,
that's the
awesome.
thing.
Oh,
Fun fact before I finish, the tennis court that we shot it has just been like closed down and it's getting renovated to something else. So,
yeah.
just going now. So I didn't even
You have
want
to have off-brand part two where you're in like
to
luxury tennis court.
know.
Awesome, awesome. Let me see here. So the next song we're going to be talking about is "Try Me." Now, something I noticed listening through the EP again recently was how the songs are. I mean, short is kind of a negative connotated word, but they aren't that like 3 minute, 3.5 minute radio version of a song. What made you decide to go with that?
No, good question because a lot of the songs that I have or the songs that I pick are songs from YouTube. That is my go-to place to get beats. So I have to work
Mm,
within the parameters of the beat. I don't think
yeah,
I would have anything else to say at the end of Try Me, so I'm kind of happy it did stop there.
yeah,
But a lot of the time, the reason why the songs are so short are because the beat itself is as long as the song is.
yeah.
Um, when I hear a song, I just, when I hear a song that I love, I just got to go for it, no matter if
Mhm.
it's, a minute, if it's 10 minutes. So I've just found within the songs that I love the most, they just happen to be barely 2 minutes long. But I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
check that moving forward. But again, I'm kind of just working within the parameters of what I see.
That's amazing. Like it's kind of like a lot of poetry is like a set of rules because otherwise it's prose. It's just all your thoughts. But when you start to refine and craft something down, you end up with a more maybe not always a more quality piece, but you end up with something a little more thoughtful because you had to narrow your thoughts. That's really cool to know. Well, let's listen to "Try Me" and then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
All right, sounds
Yeah, I got what you want. Hey, I got what you need. Yeah, I got what you want. So won't you try me? Oh my goodness, Osay cooking. All up in the kitchen whipping niggas like it's footing. I want the ladder, I want the Prada. My first words was mama, I need $1. Now I'm trying to make a couple cents, so I barely ate. I keep them on their toes like a Perrier crew. I don't give a fuck about you, but I'm about to do something that's brand new. Hey. So if you're from the east side, west side, check my scenario. I'm very dope, I rip it from Ontario to Texas. Now check this, I am the bestest bougie ass bitch, so I am protected. Cause I can't give it up to nobody else. No one really saw the vision, so I did it myself. Oh baby, I'm on a come up, make you wanna run up. And if you ain't talking dollars, baby, you should shut up. I know I've been working all week. I need money for my new Jeep. Ay, ay. I don't care what a hater think, cause ain't nobody about to hold me back. I've been flyer, been higher. Nobody really likes your style, you should retire. Ain't no liar, how set it in fire. Burn this mother sucker down. I'm hey, move, bitch. Get out the function. Osay about to drop a couple bars of some dumb shit. You ain't running, and I've been sunning. A couple lame niggas in the back, got done it. Yeah, unlimited, uninhibited. I'm not willing to give it to niggas who ain't getting in. So let them try us. We don't give a damn if they don't like us. Hey, beep, beep. Please get the fuck out my Jeep. You can't ride if you're not with the team. Homie said you want this, better take a piece. But you said you don't get nigga, that's a lease. Trying to get down with the east side. Oh, you don't wanna ride with the B-side, no. So tell us where the hell did you come from, nigga? And why the hell you ain't dropping singles like me?
Why you ain't dropping singles like me?
I think there's something fantastic about how, like, I don't know the term for it, but there's like this very like hip hop attitude, like this cool, untouchable, ready to fight, ready to party, whatever comes up, just ready. And it's splashed together with a very upbeat feel, like in the music and in your cadence and in your delivery of things. So it just feels like summertime music, but you're like nodding like this instead of dancing, you know? It's a very, very enjoyable collision of feelings in me. Which is an insane way to say I really like it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Janitsky said swagger. Yeah, no, that's
swagger.
It.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fun. I do turn on this kind of eccentric vibe again. I think this characters, a lot of things that I want to be, confident, sure of herself. I come into a room and just nobody dropping songs like me. I get to showcase that element of who I am on a regular basis. I just try to be nice and polite. So, when you get the time to talk, you talk. You just talk, you talk.
Yeah, for sure. So is that we were just kind of talking about like putting on the persona of Osay is like an empowering thing. I mean, I said that, but you agree. I'm not trying to import a message into what you're saying. But do you feel like when you write a song, are you expressing like a swagger that in your normal life you don't really get to express very often? Is that kind of, or do you walk into the room and explain to everyone that you're the best rapper in the room?
No, forget what I said earlier. I walk in and I tell everybody, y'all need to check out this young Osay. No. Not that the intention when I write my songs is to be like, okay, you sound the most confident you've ever been. A lot of my lyrics are, it's me turned up 1,000. There are elements of myself that you can hear within the songs, but it's just kind of taken up another notch. And again, I never really get to showcase that aspect and element of me. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing about creating. And I'm sure you can talk about this as well, that you can be whatever character you want to be. There's no rules with music. And that's probably the thing the most. Do you find that happens when you're creating music?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I, like there are reckless decisions that I would never make in life that really are fun to write songs about, wild living. No, definitely. Let me see here. Oh yeah, so I was excited to get to this one, because I think we shared Bad Girl back on the first episode you were on, right?
I did. I think was it or was it Top Brand? I can't remember.
I'm feeling, for some reason, I was listening to both a lot back then. It may have actually been Off Brand.
Fair in that investment. I remember, really promoting Off Brand on IMS. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, for sure. But I noticed on the EP, it's like kind of subtitled Sinister Mix. Is that what exactly does that mean? How is that different from the one that I've heard more frequently?
No, good question. Yeah, no. So the initial Bad Girl that we all know and love is an up-tempo, real clubby kind of vibe. And with this sinister, darker version, I just didn't want to call it Bad Girl Remix. I mean, obviously.
yeah.
different type of song. The lyrics are clear. It's the same lyrics, but the cursing's gone, and I added more of a melodic element. I just wanted a different take. I love the original Bad Girl, but I wanted a different spin on Bad Girl. And huge shout out to Cujo Beats. I had sent him kind of like an idea for Bad Girl, or I'd sent him the original, and I was like, hey, can you switch up the beat, kind of keep it up tempo, that same vibe? And he was like, yeah, I have this new version. It's not up tempo, but it's different. And when I heard it, I loved it. I said,
Yeah.
you mad. How did you come up with this idea for it? It sounds sinister. It sounds a little bit darker. And also another shout out to Brendan Ward, who engineered the song, because he was the one who came up with the idea of singing on the song. I was like, why would I sing on Bad Girl? That's not supposed to be sung. But he was like, yeah, just add some gimme, yeah. And I thought it was silly until I heard it for like the last time, and I was like, oh, this guy is an evil genius.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
really
dark.
interesting to.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
mean to.
Oh, I cut you off. I'm sorry, but I was just gonna say it's always interesting to like imagine what someone is hearing and be like, I don't know, but then hear what they were imagining and be like, oh yeah, okay. Now that I hear it with your ears, like, yeah, that's a cool idea. I love that kind of that moment in collaboration where I don't know, you realize your friend is an evil genius. I feel like our friend Loam is an evil genius in my life. You know?
Evil genius. This is
Yeah.
a layer. See them in a
Yeah.
second, but I'm in a layer somewhere concocting evil beats and ideas. Evil genius.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Let's listen to Bad Girl and then we'll talk a little more. I do want to I want to check in on something you told me back in the first episode that we did together. I want to know how your family thinks about your EP. Like you about you pursuing music a little more. So let's listen to it and then we'll talk a little more about that when we get back.
right.
Evil Knievel, yes, this girl's lethal. Crib 2 stories, I should've made it a sequel. Put up on the gas, it must be on diesel. Do not get it twisted, cause baby, we're not equal. Cause you don't know me, I'm too low-key. Walk into this place, I'm feeling like Naomi Campbell, please gamble. I roll the dice, name any price, and take my advice. I'm a stone cold villainess, pretty frame silhouette. Smoking past these O's, give me the cigarette. Should've never left, like, did you get it yet? I'm the type of girl to send your man you up text. I'm a bad girl, give me what I want. Hey, good girl, never. I ain't tryna hear it like bad girl. And I'm on the rise, won't meet your mama. You don't wanna get it. I'm a bad girl. In a bitty world, hey, I do whatever. Carefree whenever. Bad girl, give me what I want. Hey, make it look easy. You don't wanna get it. I'm a shout out to my ladies who be bad girls. You can get down, you a bad girl. I see you walk, you a bad girl. Okay, bad girl, go bad girl. Cut to it, you do it, you don't do it. Don't talk BS with me, cause I'm not gonna put it all to the wall. So what's it gonna be? I'm wishing for somebody to try to control me. So what you offering? I'll give me, I'll suck it hot for me. Rock with me, you gon' get it. If you wrong, leave him alone, then you check him. Cause baby, you can say the drama for the next beat. I'm a bad girl, give me what I want. Hey, good girl, never. I ain't trying to hear it like bad girl. And I'm on the rise, won't meet your mama. You don't wanna get it. I'm a bad girl. In a bitty world, hey, I do whatever. Carefree whenever. Bad girl, give me what I want. Hey, make it look easy. You don't wanna get it. I'm a shout out to my ladies who be bad girls. Move and get down, you a bad girl. Oh, you got your wrong, you're a bad girl. Go bad girl, that's my bad girl.
All right.
Yeah. Excellent track. There's a sometimes you'll hear a song even without a music video or something and you start to make one in your own brain. You know what I mean? Like the music itself invites pictures and images and cinematic moments to your brain. I feel like that song needs a video next for sure.
Oh man, please. And if you have ideas, share them. I'm thinking about ideas. Oh, I'm thinking about videos 100%, especially after the Austin first one. Please share. I would love to know what you're thinking about.
It's here's my this will be my one contribution to your eventual Bad Girl video. Just destruction, just breaking stuff. Just
Ooh.
like flipping over cars somehow. Maybe we can get a real talented videographer to flip over a car.
An
Um,
explosion in the background that I could walk away
Explosions.
coolly
Yeah.
and
Oh my
quickly.
gosh. Yeah. That's what we need. We can just stop this show right now and start making that instead. I know
This
somebody who's got a camera.
is later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So I feel like that. Tell me when in your like kind of release timeline was the original Bad Girl? That was pretty early in your public
Oh,
music,
really?
right?
The first 5 songs I had ever dropped. I think it was the third one I had ever dropped, just period, as Osay the artist, and that was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
December of 2020.
Hmm. Yeah. So, um, do you? One of the very first songs I ever wrote is still a song that every time I like play music, it comes back. Like it grows with me as an artist. Do you find that about like your other early songs, or is Bad Girl just kind of a standout from that time?
Ooh, that's interesting. With the Bad Girl, because I love that song. I didn't even initially think I would remix it. I thought it would just be, a
Hmm.
song that I have with me. I think because that of the 5 songs that I had initially dropped, that was like my favorite. So that was a song that I just, whenever I would
Yeah.
walk in,
Yeah.
bad girl, So and now I found that I've kind of moved away from it a little bit more, especially with this new one and how crazy that one is in an amazing way. I love the
Yeah.
new one. And I think it's just kind of cool to see how, you can feel one way about a song and then, 6 months later, it's been completely overtaken by something different and not in a bad ways where I look
Hmm.
down on the like I still love it, but I think seeing how you progress over time, I think that's a beautiful thing about growth, seeing where you started and where you are, currently in your,
Yeah.
journey, in your
Yeah.
chapter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I really wanted to ask, would your follow up EP be chapter two, or will you just leave it at chapter one? What do you think about that?
that's a good question. I remember even asking because I'm like, ooh, a chapter one always elicits a chapter two somewhere
Exactly.
down.
Yeah.
I have a passion project that it's called In the Pursuit of. That is gonna come out at some point, but I know
Mm.
I want to be I see that as being the next thing where I get to be a little bit more personal. With chapter one, I didn't want to get too deep into who Osei the person is and things
Yeah.
that I'm through because people don't know me. So why would they be so invested in aspects
Mm.
of who I'm? But I'm hoping with in the pursuit of a music career, in the pursuit of my dreams, or the pursuit of happiness. That's where I see that as being the next part of the Osei journey. But who knows? Maybe chapter two might be next. But
Yeah.
I think now I want to tell more. I have a lot of stories that I can't wait to showcase, and I think that would be in the pursuit of, which is I hope it'll be the next project. But that's a
Hmm.
good question. Very good
Yeah.
question.
I'm excited to hear. I mean, I'm excited to keep listening to this one, of course, but I'm excited to hear more stuff that comes out, especially in that kind of more personal direction. Like it's a really good observation to say. Like people don't already have an appreciation for my skills, so I'll give them kind of catchy hook songs, and then use that as a way to bring them into to the art
Yeah,
that comes from the more of the heart, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, I love,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I love the up tempo. That's what I grew up on,
Yeah.
Missy. And Eminem's Aaliyah TLC, but I also loved artists who could weave in struggles and trials and tribulations and tell a beautiful story. That's why, like
Mm.
Lauren Hill, one I look to as such an inspiration because she was telling stories and making it fun and interesting, and that's
Yeah.
what I eventually want to do in some shape or form.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's cool too when I've not had many people tell me that like Missy Elliott made them want to become an artist. You
Ah,
know, like
man.
absolutely if you already want to be an artist, you want to make music like that sometimes. But I have had, I think it was maybe Sims. You know Sims?
Yeah,
He
I know
he
music. Yeah,
yeah, he told me that the miseducation of
Lauren
what's that
Hill.
out with Lauren Hill? Yeah, is that the name of the album? He told me that that one made him like was one of the things that made him want to make music.
Love a
Um,
beautiful. I was a skeptic because I'm a big
yeah,
music historian and I know that's one of the most highly rated albums. I was like, how good can this album be? It's a fantastic project.
Yeah. So I think it's cool how when an artist does take that risk and put themselves like kind of in a risky position of sharing those inner things in their art, that is going to be the thing that I mean, all music connects with somebody, but there's an invitation to like explore your own emotions when somebody shares theirs with you. I think that's cool. I'm really excited to hear like the level of skill and quality you bring to what you make applied to something that just makes me cry. So keep me
That's
posted.
gonna make everyone cry. No, but that emotion, I think we forget as artists, we're also humans that go through our own struggles. I have my struggles, you have your struggles. We all just
Mm,
want to feel like we're part of something. One
mm,
album that also does an incredible job of that is Kanye West, his first project, The College Dropout. And
mm.
trying to chase music, but also, the stigma of dropping out of college and his thing. And I just love stories. I love feeling like, okay, I'm not the only, 20 something year old that's going through this. And I feel like
Yeah,
the more we connect as a people, the more we do, resonate with people. I know right now we're in the time of turning up and yeah, it's a vibe, it's a wave, but I miss stories. I miss feeling like, yeah, that artist really made me feel some type of way because I also feel that type of way. So
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I really I can't agree more. There's no wrong way to make art, but there are some really right ways to make art. Well,
facts.
yeah. So next track is Shimmy Season, which is exactly what I would call spring. Everything's out there shimmying right now. It's beautiful and I love it. So why don't you tell me what Shimmy Season? Tell me some more about it.
Yeah. Okay. Shimmy Season was one of the early songs that I dropped. And I was so sleep on I think because I had worked on Shimmy Season like a year and a half before I even released it. So when it was out, I was just like, whatever. But I remember with Shimmy Season, first and foremost, it was a voice memo on my phone. And so I sometimes when I hear a beat, I'll record ideas and then I may go back to it. And I think I was sitting
Yeah,
on a bus, heard the chorus, and I was like, oh, I gotta use that in some type of way. And once I put the song out, it was my sister, the critic of the world, who was like, "Why did you play this song first? I love Shimmy Season. You need to do something with it." And that's when I was like, "Oh, okay." like,
nice. Yeah.
so yeah, no, I love Shimmy Season. It's just a vibe. It's when you want to get loose and you're looking for a fine guy at the club or the party, and just being cool and turning up with your girls. It's just
Yeah.
one of those you can turn on.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's listen to it. Let's and then we'll talk a little more about it.
Hey, it goes.
RSK, let it play, boy. I can't go, so I can't leave. Came into this party, so you know I'm gon' breathe. Shimmy, 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 baby, I stay freeze. Look at all these fine niggas, I can't leave. I can't go, so I can't leave. Came into this party, so you know I'm gon' breathe. Shimmy, 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 baby, I stay freeze. Look at all these fine niggas, I can't leave. Looky, everybody want the cookie. All these niggas wanna hook me, but I'm not down for all that good shit, mushy, lovey-dovey. He gon' touch me, might be the right one for me, baby. Won't you come closer? I just wanna know you, cause look at me freezing. This is a new season. They see me in new drip, I tell them to keep breezing. Who leaving and who can stay for some days? Baby, look at me, I'm feeling great. Hey, spice nigga, I'm a fucking, yeah, I'm nice nigga. So won't you come around and get it all right, nigga? I be shaking while I'm waiting, look at me feeling free, just waiting to do something. I'ma need you to move, baby, reach something. Can you groove? Can you please show me something? If you feeling what I'm saying, don't stop, get it all over the place. I can't go, so I can't leave. Came into this party, so you know I'm gon' breathe. Shimmy, 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 baby, I stay freeze. Look at all these fine niggas, I can't leave. I can't go, so I can't leave. Came into this party, so you know I'm gon' breathe. Shimmy, 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 baby, I stay freeze. Look at all these fine niggas, I can't leave. Yo, ziggy, yeah, baby, I know what you want. You try hard to kick it with me, I can tell you wanna get in between. So boy, you on it. If not, I don't want it. I won't waste my time with you if it's not what you're trying to do. Yo, so keep it tight. Cause baby boy, you know I got a show tonight. But if you willing to do whatever else I like, then I want you to pursue. But if I'm shy, roll the dice, give it a minute or two. Or maybe 3, maybe 4, while sipping some wine. I can get a little buzz, cause coming up like strippers. A real big tipper, a steady big dripper. Bet you didn't think that you gon' end up with a winning. Turn it on. But maybe we should keep it on the low. Cause I think that you might be on a roll. So won't you take control? Baby boy, look, I don't wanna leave, but tell me when to go. I can't go, so I can't leave. Came into this party, so you know I'm gon' breeze. Shimmy, 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 baby, I stay freeze. Look at all these fine niggas, I can't leave. I can't go, so I can't leave. Came into this party, so you know I'm gon' breeze. Shimmy, 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 baby, I stay freeze. Look at all these fine niggas, I can't leave.
Boy.
Sorry, I was muted. So
No,
obviously, you've already made this video for Off Brand, which to me always feels like that means it's the single off the album. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that tracks, but do you think any specific song on the album? Because if you're just listening to one after the other, they all have very, like, this one should be on the radio. Wait, maybe it's this one that should be on the radio. You know, quality to them. So what do you think would be like the single if right now you had to pitch one track to
Yeah, that's a
somebody
good question.
important?
That's a good question. I feel like it would be Shimmy Season. I think Shimmy Season has done the best that I've not promoted. Like Shimmy Season, I have not given any real love to. I'm sorry. I would sleep at it at first. Like I told you, I recorded it like a year before, so I was already over it. But people seem to really like vibe to that song. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, maybe I was playing myself, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it would be shit. That's a really good point because even though I knew I wanted Off Brand to be the first single because it showcased who Osay was, it's not part. I love all my songs, but it's not like my go-to song. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah. I mean, like I said, like they all have a quality to them that would make them perfectly logical choices to be the single. You know, I think one thing about Shimmy Season that really sticks out to me is it feels like the hip hop, or really like the the kind of hip hop R&B type stuff that I listened to in like my that age when music started making sense to me, like my late middle school, high school age. Like that's the era it feels like, but it's an extremely clean and modernized like version of that feel. So there's like a nostalgia, but also an interest to it.
Yes, 100%. I'm so glad you said that. I take influence from the early 2000s and the 90s. I don't even listen to any music of today.
Yeah.
Hate to date myself, but yeah, I love that hip hop R&B blend that was
Hmm.
really back then. So I do try to incorporate elements of that into my new sound, into the sound of today, because that's what I was so influenced by. So that actually, I'm like, oh, you noticed.
Yeah, yeah. I notice a lot of things. I not right now. I don't. I guess because I was gonna try to notice another thing right now, but I can't. I'm very stuck. Yeah,
I
but
did know
awesome.
the chat. I'm sorry. I just had to segue into the chat really, really, really
Oh
quickly.
yeah.
You are so wonderful. Who's IMF Radio? Who's specifically running that? I don't know if you know.
It's either PAX or Volps, and usually if it's one, the other one's like with them. So I'm
Got
not
it.
100% sure. They might tell us in the chat. I think there's a delay between us talking and them hearing, so they may actually tell us in a few seconds.
Show
But
yourself. Give you praise. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, man. Poppy Chadinsky. You all are just fantastic. Just not only because they're in the chat, but they've been some of the people I've gone to and asked questions to, and just it's probably a bot. Oh, it's PAX. Maybe it's PAX. I'm trying to figure it out. But the IMF family has just been so fantastic in my
mm-hmm.
coming out as an artist and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. You all are just fantastic. I adore
Mm.
you all so much. But let me stop being a stan. But I appreciate
No,
it.
no, I agree. It's funny, like this show is not like a thing IMF makes, but it only exists because of IMF. It only exists because of the like atmosphere that they have created where artists can talk to one another, and we have a genuine desire to hear each other and also get to know each other. So like that's the only reason that I seriously doubt famous, quote unquote famous, career artists. Kanye West isn't just sitting around asking Jay-Z
Yeah.
about his new album.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's
Yeah.
so fantastic because there's a lot of indie artists, but there's not platforms that
Mm.
really where people genuinely care, take time out, when you think of like the feedback and those times where people can broadcast them. There's not platforms like this. When I tell you
Yeah.
IMF is the best squad in the world, like I'm willing to fight any
Yeah.
other fan, any other squad
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
are just fantastic. So
Definitely.
sorry to cut you. I know I've been cutting you off from time to time. I can't help getting my point across, but I just had to like segue really quickly to give a
Yeah.
huge shout out again, like Slacker Man, Papa Janinski, just Pax, if it's you, and you.
Hey, yeah. Yeah. Glad to. Yeah. I man, I feel I kind of said some of this before we started the stream in that pre live stream, jitters. Just that, like, I am truly grateful. Like, not only that you are taking time to talk to me about your art, but also just that you have this community encouraging mindset about creating things. Like you do not make things and then tell people, and nobody else can do it. Like your very quality and your very personality are invitations to other people to enjoy your music, but also just make music, like enjoy creating things. Um,
Absolutely. I just what I appreciate about this is that you like you kind of said, everyone, it's not like, oh man, I'm afraid to share my music because
yeah,
someone, that one person in the chat will completely tear them to shreds. It's
yeah,
very open for everyone, and I
hmm
mean, even me where I'm like, oh boy, I don't know what people are gonna think of it.
hmm
And it's like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, really? You guys think that? It's just really nice to have a community because it is when you think about the music, the independent music scene, it's very competitive,
yeah,
everyone trying to one up someone else, or it's all about, well, what about my shot? If this person's glowing up, that means I'm not glowing. And it's here,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a community oriented, we're reaching out because we genuinely rock with each other, not only just from a let me just pretend I like this person. We genuinely support,
yeah,
care about. It's beautiful, you can't find it anywhere else. So
hmm
grateful. I'm very, very grateful. Huge shout out to Bug too, because he's the one who showed me IMF. So without him, none of this is even possible. So Bug, I love you.
but the
The goat.
best.
The goat. Greatest.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually realized in this conversation about community, I had the thought, if only families were easier to feel that from. And then I realized I skipped over the question about your family. I wanted to ask you: have you shown your parents your EP? What do they think about your music?
Oh man, way to put me on the spot. I have not. And it's not because my parents aren't supportive. My mom isn't supportive. My mom is probably one of the most supportive people I know. I think it's just this fear too, again, coming from a Nigerian culture where
Mm-hmm.
everyone, music, who in your family is doing music, but that accounting job, that lawyer
Yeah,
job,
yeah,
engineering job. I think my mom would be really supportive of it. I think it's just my fear of I don't want to let her down. I don't want her to
mm,
feel any less of me because I love to create. I'm good at accounting, but music is what I really want to be about. So I
mm.
got to get over that hump. You're right. Way to put me on the spot. I may send her
Ah,
this. Yes. And at this point, but it's not because my mom would just be like, "Oh, what?" But I think it's just my of not living up to who she wants me to be as
mm,
a woman? Question mark. Okay, this got very Barbara Walters-esque very quickly, but it's a lot of my fear. It's just I don't want to let her down, so
mm.
that's why I'm really hesitant about kind of showing her, who I am as an
Mhm.
artist. This is a part of me, the creative aspect.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that. Like it's if a stranger rejects you, it's like that. Ouch, I guess, you know. But if your own family says like, it's fine, I guess, you know, like there's a quality to that that is uh, a lifelong pain, you know, because in some form, like that relationship between you and your parents will always be you as the child, you know, and like who's more vulnerable than a child to the words of the person that they're trusting. Um, yeah, I feel you. I feel you, and you know, I don't want you to rush, but I absolutely think if I think I can't imagine a parent hearing what you've made, seeing the community that you've become a part of, like all these things that you're working really hard on, and say, oh yeah, but that work wasn't an accountant job,
Yeah.
like, and not honor that work. And I really hope you get to have that soon with your mom, where you get to celebrate this thing you've made together.
Life is too short tonight. I think if Corona has taught us anything, is that you never know what can happen tomorrow. Everything
Mm-hmm.
pandemic swipes up everything. So I
Mm,
think again, I want to just emphasize the fact that it's not my mom like a villain. She's always been supportive. That's my bestie right there.
yeah.
I think it's just my deep fear of like, not that she'll reject it, but she won't understand it. There's nothing
Um,
more than that.
I'm sorry. We need to start the next song. There is a snake inside my house. There is a
Oh,
snake inside
that's,
my house.
oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah.
So we're
Please.
gonna listen to the next song,
Yeah. Just
and
I'll introduce.
I'm gonna pack my bags and leave.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, please handle that. What in the world? Yeah. Please.
Paving this shit crank.
Baby, I can't wait to get you alone. Send a couple pics from my cell phone. So what you want me to do? You got me acting a fool. So let me know, boy, do you still got me? It's about that time. So what's it gonna be? I be so addicted, can't dismiss it. Got no business meaning what you to me. You're trying to make a scene of me, boy. Why can't I control it? And everybody knows it. I'm trying to keep it cool, but I can't hold it. Oh no, you got me acting loco. Hey, baby, I ain't sharing that I told you. So let me know, boy, what you gonna say? What you gonna be? Baby, you still got me. Oh, tell me what you gonna do if you like it. Boy, you got a lot to prove. Do you like it, boy? Tell me what you gonna do with me. Oh boy, why don't you tell me what to do now? 'Cause I don't got a clue now, baby. When I'm with you, no, take it from me. Take it from me, yeah. Take it from me. Take it from me. Show me, baby, show me what to do. Yeah. Show me what to do with. Yeah. Can you show me what to do? Would you do something finally? Would you do something finally? Do something, baby, baby, do it for me. Yeah. So let me know, boy. Oh boy, you still got me. It's about that time. So what's it gonna be? Let me know, boy. Do you still got me? It's about that time.
interview. We want to know about the snake. What in the world? I'm sitting here just concerned the whole time. I'm not even listening
Huge,
to the song. I'm like, what
huge snake. Oh my goodness. I am very out of breath because when I got him in the box, I ran to the creek and just let him out and then ran back. So here I am, gasping for
wow.
air. Yeah, insane. Giant snake. I am positive it's because my neighbor has a chicken coop and they're always coming around trying to eat chickens, I guess.
Oh, is that the okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause how does that even happen?
I don't know, but I'm gonna have to. I don't know exactly. Start wearing longer pants or something. I'm not sure because now I'm heebie-jeebies. There's wires under my desk.
I'm
Yeah.
heebie-jeebie. Like, I was like, why are we still talking? Just play the song and figure it out. Because I
Yeah.
was for
Awesome.
you.
Well, I will have to ask everybody in the chat here how many stars out of 100 is the song we just listened to by Osay? Because I was gonna use the freshness of it in my mind to comment on it. Why don't you tell me about that song that we just listened to together?
Yeah, still got me. That's funny. That was the last song on the it wasn't even supposed to be on there, but with the mix for Bad Girl, it was taking a minute. So I was like, let me see if I could create something else in the meantime. And that's kind of what happened with Still Got Me. I love that song. The vibe is just very, again, that 90s, early
Yeah,
2000s
yeah,
flavor. That's kind of what I wanted to hit with that. Like, people know me for rapping, but I do love to sing as well. So yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was vibe for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I feel like the snake situation has detracted from what we were
Absolutely. That
talking about.
snake. Ugh, how dare the snake take my moment?
Yeah,
Rude.
right. I mean, yeah, hey, so maybe the Bad Girl music video just heavily features a snake, and
Yeah,
that's maybe the snake is the bad girl
there
messing
we go.
up messing up the stuff. Yeah,
There we go. That's exact. I think that'll be a great way to start the intro for the Bad Girl music
yeah, yeah,
video. Doing this
yeah.
innocent cat snake, rude
Awesome,
snake.
awesome. Well, there's one more track on the EP. I'm on high. So
Oh,
why
I
don't
think you
you?
know how many licks?
Did I
The
skip
snake
one? Oh,
again.
I did. Oh my
Ugh,
goodness. Let's
rude
listen to how
snake.
many licks. I'm sorry. I know the snake. He got the man. Now we got to start at the beginning. You can't just listen to an EP out of order. Tell me some about how many licks, and we'll listen to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was one of those songs where as soon as I heard the beat, I just instantly knew where to go. With I'm not the most when again, I'm not that I'm super duper conservative, but I don't really discuss my more, I guess, sensual, sexual side. So
Mm-hmm.
again, the part of being an artist is kind of disclosing and sharing certain things that you don't get to necessarily talk about on your day-to-day life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that amazing thing with how many licks and even the reception for it. I didn't think people were gonna love it as much as I did. That was a song my sister was like, absolutely not. But I loved it. I love the beat. The beat was the thing. Shout out to Malade. He was the one who produced it, and I was just hooked. And how many licks kind of playing off of the Tootsie Roll pop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's a fun song, and I hope you all like it like I do.
yeah. Heck yeah, let's listen to it.
It's the middle of my,
Blue top. How many licks gon' take to get to the middle? My yes. How many licks will it take to get you to find out all of me? How many licks? How many licks? How many licks? How many licks? How many little licks? How many licks? How many licks gon' take? Listen. Could it take one or two or three, maybe four? I don't know, babe. You can do it if you want. Waiting all week to put it all on me, baby. Let's make a video. Got me on my tippy toes. You got me speaking tippy toes. I don't even understand how you get me out. You should let a girl breathe. I can let it out. Didn't wanna make a scene, but I'm checking out. All on me, hey. You got me for free. I let you go, lick many times, groove to make me move in directions. You super sexy, ooh, I'm invested. Beat it up a few times, it's a Vesta. Oh my gosh, it's your property. Oh no, no, baby, I can't leave. I can't fake. Get me out my negligees. Waiting to do some things. Get your friend a trade. We can start again. You be my favorite. Like it when you taste it. I know what I'm saying. Baby, you're amazing. How many licks gon' take to get to the middle? My yes. How many licks will it take to get you to find out all of me? How many licks? How many licks? How many licks? How many licks? How many little licks? How many licks gon' take? How many whoa Nelly? How many licks gon' take? How many licks gon' take? How many licks gon' take for you to get all of me?
I feel like everybody's had the experience I was trying to describe in the chat there, where you really want your parents take me up there. Will Smith's new album just came out, and it's all happy radio music, and then you get to that track, and you're like, oh no, my
You're just
parents
like,
are, yeah.
that's when you got to have a long conversation with your parents about nothing, just so we can get away from it.
Yeah. What do you think that building is, Mom? Yeah.
Signed it like that. Why did they make it so high?
Yeah. Definitely. Do you? So I mean, it's kind of it's a beneficial thing that when an artist creates something, it's going to be a peek into their lifestyle. So for me as a white male, when I hear a woman of color, create something, there's a perspective in it that I have not understood. Do you think that it is is there a sense of taboo in putting your sensuality, your sexuality into your music that
Yeah.
you so I mean, has that been like a challenge since releasing that song? Does it make you feel nervous that it exists, or do you feel like, well, that's done now, I've shed that sense of shame?
Got it. I'm sorry. Slikerman said, "Mom." I'm explaining it to my mom. Mom, listen to this one. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that again, coming from a Nigerian family, we're not just out here talking about sex all day, but even too when you think of music as a whole, especially female rappers, the ones who talk about sex are looked down upon. The ones,
Mhm.
why be her when you could be a Rhapsody, when you could be a Lauren Hill? And I do hate that stigma associated with female rappers in general because men can talk about the sun, the moon, the stars, sex, drugs, whatever. They can talk about the same thing over and over again,
Mhm.
and it's an issue. So it's like I do hate that there is this as a female, if you talk about these subjects, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because again,
Mhm.
people will listen to it, but you may not reach the masses if you talk about things other than sex. But then when you do talk about food, that's the only thing she got to talk about. She don't bring nothing else to the table. It's just this, you can't win for losing, and that's what I do appreciate about chapter one is trying to hit on a lot of different things. Of course,
Mhm.
some of the matter is sex, but some of it is just, hey, I'm the off-brand version of this. I'm goofy. I'm silly. There's so many elements of myself that I want to share, not just sex. But again, kind of thinking about when I do show my mom this project, and then when she sings a song like How Many Licks, what will she
Mhm.
sing? But again, you
Yeah.
can't necessarily live in fear of who you're supposed to be or who you want to be. And that's just kind of
Yeah.
push the project forward.
Yeah. That's a really, really I guess wise point of view, like a wise answer. Like it doesn't seem like you um kind of willy nilly decided to include it. Like it was a song that spoke to you. It was an enjoyable piece of your personification. Like you talk about giving time to each little element of yourself in these tracks. And I think that comes across really tactfully in that track. So I don't know. It's a and the thing is, like, even in this conversation, I felt a need to ask about the stigma because I know it exists, like, so like it's I don't know, it's insightful to know, like, there's the awareness about the stigma, there is the absolute awareness that there are two extreme failure versions and there's a balance, and I think you've achieved it well, and I think in doing so it's going to be it's going to be easy for other young women to express that, in their art.
I hope so. I sure
Yeah.
hope so. Again, growing up, certain females like the Missys, like the Aaliyahs, they made it cool to be yourself in music. And
Mm-hmm.
if I can inspire one person like Aaliyah inspired me, then I've done my job. It's not about fame or fortune or million. It's not about any of that. It's being able to, or walking through the door to make the path easier for the next artist. As much as people condemn like Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, they had to go through a lot so artists like me can come into the arena and do my thing. Because 10 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, rap was non existent outside of Nicki Minaj. And
Yeah.
20 years ago, it was non existent. Well, it was actually popping, but, Missy Elliott made it cool to be a different type of rapper who didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily go to this subject or this subject. So I just
Yeah.
want to do something different.
Man, that's fantastic, and it's a, a beautiful insight, to identify that, like, hearing somebody go to the extremes of like the Nicki Minaj, is open widening a path. Other people don't have to go to the extreme, but she's widened the path that other people can find their own foothold on.
Exactly. I don't even want it to be seen as an extreme. There's nothing taboo or nothing should be taboo about sex. We've all had sex,
Yeah.
we all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that we can't express who we are without this, she
Mm-hmm.
only, I do wish that would change, but I don't think it ever will for some
Yeah.
reason or other. But I do appreciate the contributions of the females before me, rap or
Mm-hmm.
not, to kind of help build this gap and create this environment where we all can thrive.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I Well, I think I'll go ahead and move on to actually the last track now. I'm on high. Would you like to maybe tell me some more about it before we get into it?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm on high. I wrote that song on probably one of the lowest times of my, hence the name. I'm on high, I'm on low. But I wanted to kind of make it a bit more humorous and comedic. Yeah, I was on low, but now I'm on high. Now I'm doing better. And I guess it was kind of my way of, when you say something enough times, you start to believe it, or once you put out positive energy into the world, and things start to change. And I think that was kind of my combating of that. Yeah, I was on this low period, but now I'm on high. Now I'm better than I was. So
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
seriousness out of the situation that I was going through at the moment. And, again, my favorite artists are the ones that can kind of put a humorous spin on things that everyone kind of goes through, and makes it relatable and fun and silly. And
hmm
that's what inspired I
yeah. Heck yeah. Let's listen to it.
We back. All right. Let's go like that. Clap your hands like this. Clap your hands like this. Clap your hands like this. Let's go. I was on low, now I'm on high. Ain't nobody out there got a swagger like mine. Ooh, I'm too fly, if you don't like me then bye. Cause I remember when I was a tragic chick, a masochist, a basic chick, they hate the chick. Damn, my eyes hurt, give me some laces, bitch. I remember when I wasn't making shit. I mean, I'm broke as fuck, but I'm posting up. You claim that you're cold, but you're probably not. Well, you can watch me while I pop and lock. Neighbors upset cause the bass knocks. Well, we don't give a fuck, bitch, call the cops. Professional metal up, problem we can bet it up. If not, I'll be at the mall getting a pedicure. Local competitor, you look like a predator. You're behind me, I'm 2 steps ahead of you. Sorry, Charlie, you're not on my caliber. Cause either you drive or you passenger. If I don't know, better back it up. And y'all gon' make me wanna go incognito. See no evil, please don't stun no shit that really ain't legal. She's so sweet, so yo. So what y'all mad at me for? I was on low, now I'm on high. I'm trying to get it poppin', but it's not the right time. So keep it low key, your daddy be on me. He trying to get my number so he can stroke me. Oh, you gotta show my bad, we didn't notice. But ain't nobody coming out to see you, Otis. Oh shit, she be spazzing with it. But these people always lying, girl basket with it. So I got a new shimmy, shimmy. Rap like chimichangas. I don't wanna hear none of your problems, cause you can't bother me. And homie, get them off of me. I'm on high, now I'm on low. I'm a crazy motherfucker, I wanted you all to know. So better leave me alone and don't try to sit home, cause I'm on a freaking high.
Fantastic. I love that very last, the reversal of it at the end. Like again, like just when that kind of humorous realism of the original idea starts to wear off, you reverse it. And you're like, it's still a story. Like there's a rise and a fall to this story. It's
Like
good.
life, you'll have your good times, and then sometimes it goes right back to reality. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. When I first saw the name of that track on the EP, I think I was just listening through the EP at this point and like noticing how many songs there are, and I thought, the only thing that I haven't really heard a lot of in this EP yet is cannabis talk, and I thought surely that's going to be where we're going with this song.
oh man,
You
I
know,
should have said I was high. That's part
yeah,
two.
awesome, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, man, that's kind of the end. I want to be sure that you have a moment to say what you want. You don't have to only answer questions that I ask. Feel free. Of course, obviously, if you want to tell people better places to find you online, I'll be sure to drop the link to like your Bandcamp, your Spotify, stuff like that, where I upload this. But the floor is yours, as I like to say. It's
Yeah.
say what you like.
Let me clear my throat now.
Yeah.
I just thank everyone. First and foremost, thank you for just allowing me to be on here and kind of share my project and, have
Yeah.
people kind of learn more about me and the music. I've said it a million times over, IMF, you are the greatest community ever. Just everyone there is just so talented and kind of inspire me in so many ways. I could like list off everybody, but I'm just appreciative of this community. Every person who's listened, checked out the project, checked out this podcast. I'm just grateful and
Mm.
appreciative. I'm corny. I should be shouting out everyone, but I just want to just give giving love to me. You all have
Yeah.
just made little rapper just so happy. So thank you all very, very
Yeah.
much. You can find me at Osay Can't See, but you said you're gonna link everything. But
Yeah.
thank
I'll drop all those links and stuff. I'll do my best to. Sometimes I miss some, so it's probably it's best to say. Say can't see. I really like that name
you.
too.
Oh, thank you, thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah. One last question before we go, because I've been wanting to ask you this. What's the name? It feels very like socially aware of the American condition right now. What does it mean?
oh man, I wish yes and no.
Yeah,
My whole life, like Osei has been my name, and every person who hears my name always says the same thing, and they always think they're the first person who said it, but they're like, "Hey, Osei, like Osei, can you see?" Like every person who I
yeah,
introduced to, if I had $1 for every time I heard that joke, I'd be a millionaire. So it's kind of playing that instead of Osei can't say, I actually can't because I need glasses. So it was kind of like a tongue in cheek thing. So
yeah.
it worked. I felt it was befitting, and again, a little bit of my personality. Because haha,
Mhm.
I can see, but I can't.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you very much for letting me know that. That's funny. River just said he thought it was an actual anthem thing too. So you got another dollar, I think, out of River.
Osei, the shortened version of my real name, Osei, but Osei, the
Yeah,
easier part.
yeah. Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you a bunch. I'm looking at the chat, pretending they can see me. Thank you very much for joining us today. Osei, again, thank you a million for the things you created and taking time to share and talk about them with us here today. If you are listening to this, I've already said this once, but I'm going to say it again. Just look in the notes and click the things and follow and subscribe and like the things that Osei creates. That those likes and subscriptions, those add up to visibility online. They aren't useless. They aren't just feel good buttons. Those add up. So take some time to do that. And until we chat again soon, stay courageous, stay curious, and stay creative. Bye, everybody.